Today's video is sponsored by my wand shop, Other Vendors, where I've been making quality wands since 2018. There's a couple of them that are going to be available soon. Go ahead and sign up at the bottom of the page. Link is at the description down below. Okay guys, I am actually ready now. I have shot this like 3 times and I think now I've finally got it. I got the microphone set up, so hopefully you can hear me. Got my board set up, and this video I'm just going to tell you real quickly what the hell it is I am trying to do. So a couple years ago I had this idea after reading that the cards in a deck, regular playing cards, that, you know, that's kind of how the tarot cards got started, and they are, you know, the minor arcana, and that you could actually use them to do a form of tarot card reading. And I'm like, oh, you know, that's a great idea, cool. And what I had on hand was this set of cards, and I wasn't really pleased with them. I wasn't digging them as far as doing readings from these. Why? Because the images have like repetitions of the same people, right? And I'm like, you know, I'm not digging that. I want something with a little bit more you know, variety, right? So I thought on it for a while, and then I completely forgot to even think about it because I had other stuff going on. And then a little bit later on, I remembered I had these in my shopping cart on Amazon, and I was like, damn, I'm gonna go ahead and get them, right? Which, now that I think about it, I should probably do a flip through for these cards. And I was like, you know, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get them. In the meantime, I looked to see if anybody else was doing Harry Potter tarot reads, and what I found was that there's actually Harry Potter tarot cards, and I couldn't find them on Amazon. And then I was looking kind of everywhere, and I found them on eBay. And so I bought them. I did a flip through of these, so if you want to see what they look like, I guess I'll go ahead and link them in the description. Anyway, so I got the cards. They just came, I want to say like maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I ordered them nearly 3 months before they arrived, but because the seller that was on eBay is in Russia, and because of the pandemic and because of the problems with the mail, it took a really long time for these cards to show up. But also, now that they've shown up, I can also say that I wasn't going to end up using these for the shuffling or for these readings anyways, because they have like a really rubbery texture to them. And so what I'd really rather do with these is just use them as like the overall meaning message card. So like I'll still use them, but because it was never my intention to use these, because when I had this idea I didn't even know these existed. I'm only going to use like 1 card out of this deck per reading. Now, what are the readings going to be? How am I doing the readings? So the cards from this deck are in here, are in this big old massive deck that I have right here, minus, I do believe, yeah, minus the 2 Joker cards. Okay. Now, real quick, I just want to say this, that I was getting ready to do the Hufflepuff reading, and when I was done shuffling the cards and I'm like, okay, that's good, we're done there, the Hufflepuff card was on top. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So I have these cards from this deck in here to represent the minor arcana. But the minor I don't know if it's arcana or if it's arcana, but so I'll just call it the minor arc. Okay, so the minor arc, with a regular set of playing cards, you have the king, the queen, and the jack, right? So that would be the king, the queen, and the knight, but you don't have a page for that suit. Hence why there's this Hufflepuff card. Now you'll have to forgive me because I've already given my daughter, she's a Hufflepuff, I've already given her that set of cards, but I also got the Gryffindor ones, the Ravenclaw, and the Slytherin, And this same Joker card from each one I've taken and I've added to this deck. Okay, and I don't know if you can really see that or not, but this is what I'm using as the page for each house. Now, I'm going to elaborate a little bit further. So every single card of this deck is in this deck, okay? And instead of reading it as, say, the Jack of Clubs, so the Jack of Wands, I'm actually reading the cards off of their picture, which is why I love this deck so much, because each card is a different picture. And yeah, I really love it, because for me there's so much more meaning behind each one of these little guys. Okay, there's that. So this is Minor Arcana, and then I was like, okay, well, what do I do about the major, right? That's where I got a little bit smart. First, I started off with the top trumps, 30 witches and wizards. Okay, I was like, 30 of them, cool, I only need 21, right? And so I was excited, and when I was writing down the thought that I had of who would represent what for the major, obviously I was going to have like 9 cards left to the side. And funny enough, when I did that, I had Harry as the World card, and I had Voldemort as the Devil card. Funny part is that within this deck, that's exactly who they have as the Devil card and who they have as the World card. So, I mean, we were on the same page there. Great, I like that. But then when I got done, and as I was just kind of putting this whole idea in my head, you know, and I never intended for it to be like YouTube videos, I just thought, God, it would be fun if I can read the Harry Potter cards as, you know, if I could just read them, right? That's how it started off. But then, so I threw those 21 cards into this deck, and then I was like, you know what, screw it. So I threw all the rest of the witches and wizards in there. And then I was like, well, damn, there's some witches and wizards that are missing. So I got 2 more decks, and I took more of the wizards out of, well, witches and wizards out of these decks and added them in as well. And then I still didn't have the pages for the houses, which is why I ended up getting those 4 decks. Okay, so that's what cards are in there. And to elaborate just slightly more, this board I started working on, there's cat hair everywhere, I started working on at the beginning of the year, and I finished it, like I said, by February. In here, probably right now, I'll insert some pictures so you can see, you know, what I did. Okay, so first I drew out everything the way I wanted it, designed where the colors were going to go, started burning it, started painting it. Then I didn't like the way the paints were, switched the paints, switched the design of the colors, and then started messing with the animals, trying to get them just right, and then finally did the clear coat, and done. So I did this board because instead of doing weekly general reads for like the zodiac signs, like you see a lot of people here on YouTube, they do, which I love it. I mean, there's some ladies on here who I'm very devoted to. San Tarot, she's definitely one of my favorites. I used to love Adelina. I mean, I still do love her, but I guess when she left YouTube, that's also another reason that I was kind of hesitant to get started doing this, because I could see how she was mentally breaking down every time she was doing the readings and having to deal with the public and whatnot, and just all the harassment she was getting. So you know, that kind of made me leery, because I wasn't really in a good spot when I thought I was ready to do this. Now I'm like, okay, I've been through some shit, and I kind of don't care, you know, if I sound retarded anymore, I guess, is my biggest thing. So yeah, so I'll be doing weekly house readings. per house. So 4 readings a week, I think I can handle that. They'll be general readings, and they're meant to kind of be like, you know, semi lighthearted and fun, but if they go a little bit deep, they might just do that. I am very much on the dark side, so the messages might not always be fun. Okay, there it is. Hope that makes sense.